Hey there, I'm Dina and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about the subject of overthinking, something I've done a lot throughout my life and I know what it feels like. That powerless feeling where you can't stop it in its tracks. And so I'm going to teach you today about where it comes from, my techniques that I use to stop myself from overthinking, and how to get that feeling of power and control back over your thoughts. So where does overthinking come from? Overthinking is that fight-flight mode. It's when you're trying to flee your problems. It's a fear reaction. It's your body and your mind trying to escape something that you feel is overwhelming. And so you turn to overthinking. It's also called ruminating. It's where you overthink and think about the same thing. It's like the hamster wheel. It just keeps going over and over again. And it feels like you can't escape it. Ruminating is you trying to escape your problems. You think by overthinking and trying to solve this problem and thinking of the worst case scenario that you're escaping it. But really you're just making it worse. Overthinking about our fears is like quicksand. The more you keep thinking about it and ruminating over it, the quicker and deeper you get sucked into that sand. The deeper you go into that fear cycle, down that rabbit hole of the worst case scenario. You can get so trapped by your fears that you feel immobilized. But if you can remember to stay calm, stay rational, stay aware, the less you'll get sucked into that quicksand of your fears. Okay, so let's say you're already in the midst of overthinking. You're like, I'm already there, I can't stop, what do I do? My best tips for getting out of that overthinking cycle of rumination is to first remember that you're the awareness. You are not your thoughts. A quick way to remember this is to say, who's having the thought? I'm listening to the thought, so I'm not the thought. I'm the consciousness, I'm this awareness, hearing the thought, witnessing the thought. So therefore, I'm above the thought. I'm in charge of the thought. Remember that you're behind the wheel. You're the driver of your mind. You're the awareness and you're the consciousness listening to the mind. So when you start having all of these thoughts, these fears that won't stop, remind yourself, I'm not these thoughts, I'm the awareness listening to them. And I can just be that. I don't have to partake in the thoughts. I don't have to let them consume me or control me. Remember to take a step back from your thoughts and feel in control of them. Remember that you're this consciousness listening to them. You aren't your thoughts. A great trick that I use when I hear a thought or I'm witnessing a thought and I get sucked into it, I get sucked into thinking it's true or listening to it, I stop, I recognize that it's just a thought, and then I can decide, do I want to throw this thought in the garbage, just throw it away, it's useless, don't even pay attention to it, or I can just say, that's a weird, interesting thought, and just let it go. And if you have trouble doing the second one, visualize yourself throwing it in the garbage, saying this thought is not useful to me, it's not helping me in any way, and so it belongs in the garbage. It's not a part of me. This thought isn't me, and so throw it in the garbage, see it going into the garbage can, and just keep repeating that where you're throwing it in the garbage to the point where the thought just doesn't even come back and you can move on about your day. Another tactic that I use when I'm stuck in the cycle of overthinking and ruminating is using mantras. And mantras can kind of just like throw a wrench in the cycle. They can stop it in its tracks. One that I love to do is just saying, you have no power over me. Just like from the movie Labyrinth. You have no power over me. It just reminds yourself that you're the power. Your thoughts aren't in charge, you are. So you can say to them, you have no power over me, and you can feel back in control. You can remind yourself that you're the one in charge and that you don't have to listen to these fear thoughts. You don't have to be pulled in by their cycle of ruminating and worrying. Another great mantra that I use all the time is from Louise Hay, and she says, all is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. And out of this situation, only good can come, and I am safe. You can say this mantra over and over again. And in fact, she says if it's a really troubling, worrisome problem, almost incessantly babble it. Say it over and over again. I mean, I've said it so many times, I have it memorized. All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. And out of this situation, only good will come. And I am safe. Sometimes I scream it. One time I was in my car and I was singing to it. I've used this mantra so many times. It has saved me in many situations where I was worrying and I couldn't stop. So I highly recommend you memorize this mantra by saying it over and over and over again. And when all else fails, simply ask yourself, am I choosing love or am I choosing fear? Overthinking and ruminating is fear. It's you worrying. If you realize that that's what you're doing, that you're in the absence of love right now, you can shift things around. You can turn it around and look at it from the point of view of love. What is this beautiful lesson I can learn? How can I choose to be in a loving frequency right now? And this may seem a little out there for you, but love just means the loving feelings, right? So feeling connected, feeling gratitude, feeling happiness and joy. Even in circumstances where you can't see it, there's always some glimmer of hope, always something you can learn, and always something you can be grateful for. All right, so to recap this video, overthinking is a flight-fight mode. It's ruminating. It's the cycle of fear. The best tips that I have for escaping it is recognizing that you are the consciousness, you are the awareness, you're the one paying attention and listening to your thoughts. You are not those thoughts. So therefore, you have the power to change them. You have the power to throw them in the garbage. And you have the power to say, you have no power over me. And repeat those mantras. All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. And out of this situation, only good will come. And I am safe. Repeat that over and over again to pull yourself out of the fear mode, to pull yourself to this awake place where you're being aware, and to be connected to love, to be in that state of gratitude. And remember that you are the one in charge. You don't have to succumb to the overthinking, the worrying, and the fears. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it as always, and I hope that you found it helpful and that you can stop that cycle of overthinking. If you're someone who's always fearful and worrying a lot, I have a great ebook that you can download. It's also a guidebook, so it's going to help you work through your fears. You can download a free copy. It's in the description, and it's going to teach you how to embrace this life of fearless living.